it makes the quality of life very, very, appealing.
I like how it's very quiet, and yes, it's very safe, so it's a nice area to live in. Everything's very nice. The people are friendly, so it's a nice
People are
place.
friendly?
Yes, nice place to live.
I love the schools out here. I love the atmosphere. I love the people out here. It has a southern hospitality feel.
I like a lot of the services that are provided. They clear the snow. I had a wonderful experience with the water department once when I had a leak in my basement. No sooner had I called them than their truck appeared. The service is outstanding.
The police are perfect, right on their job, their call. When you need them, they come.
There are a lot of things about the community that are very nice.
I'm just really love it here. I do everything I want to do is right in this area.
Well, now we've had some examples from some of our neighbors, and we've heard a lot about services that are offered. Why don't we just sort of make a little categorical line and listen for a minute as our supervisor tells us about the wide range of service we get here. What do we have, Dave? I know we have the police, right?
Well, obviously, the local community's primary responsibility is public safety, police, fire, EMS, and then also, to a great extent, in terms of public services, our DPW department comes into play. Roads, water, sewer, solid waste collection, all those types of activities that really help the quality of life in Bloomfield Township. And as you know, and as these people that you interviewed have indicated, residents do place a high value on the quality of services that we do provide.
How long does it take, say, if I had a heart attack and my wife called for EMS to come, what's the responder time, 10, 12, 15 minutes?
No, not at all. First of all, you'd have both police and fire responding. Police officer responds, they're trained in first aid, CPR. Every police car has an automated external defibrillator, an AED. So if you're in cardiac arrest or something of that nature, that police officer has the ability. Obviously, a police officer can get to your house faster than a fire truck because they're out, they're roaming, and police vehicles can move faster. So that's really critical.
15, 20 minutes?
No, two minutes, 2 to 4 minutes.
Dave, let me give him an example. This is a personal example.
Okay, Leo?
10, 12 years ago, when I wasn't home, my son, who was about 5 years old, he swallowed a quarter. And from the time that my wife became aware of it till the time that the police and fire were here were less than 2 minutes. And that's one of the key critical things. In that particular case, everything was all right. When we were talking about services and cutting services, it'd be easy enough to say, well, why don't you shut down one of the firehouses? So if you pick, say, Franklin Road to shut down north of Square Lake, and you have an accident at Woodward and Square Lake, the responders are now going to come from Long Lake, or they're going to come from over on Westview. And that 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes can mean the difference of that person who's involved in the accident living and dying. They get there as quickly as they can. And if I had to pick a number out, I'd say it's far less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes for a police vehicle. It's about 3 to 4 minutes for an EMS vehicle. But what's really important is if you're having a heart attack, and if you're not getting oxygen, if they haven't established an airway or started CPR or anything, you can be brain dead within 5 to 6 minutes. So response time is crucial. Another example that, like Leo used, I talked to a resident not too long ago talking about this situation that we're in. He indicated his wife had a severe asthma attack, and she stopped breathing basically. And he said that they were there within 2.5 to 3 minutes and saved her life. Now, a response time 2 to 3 minutes longer, she would have either been dead,
might not have made it,
or brain dead.
Sure.
She might have survived, but she would have had permanent brain damage. So, I mean, we're talking about, people don't think about it, but we're talking about really critical services that should have a great deal of meaning to
certainly
residents.
Impacts somebody my age and older.
Yeah.
Not too many older than I am, but
Doesn't
it's
matter
sort-
how old you are,
okay.
Tom. I mean, we've had kids in school that are participating in sports that suddenly go into, cardiac arrest.
You can get
We
stung
we
by-
don't want to, just talk about maybe
talk
people
about
your age. It could happen to anybody.
You guys have
You
to
can-
be careful. Well, wait a minute. I want to get back to a couple other things now. Leo intrigued me with some of these numbers, and I kind of got lost with those numbers again. Leo, tell us about the houses and the values and how all of this coordinates together. How does that work?
Okay, let's take a look at the first picture of this house. And all these pictures are taken from the roads, and they're all public information.
Okay.
So any of the information that I'm releasing right now isn't private information.
Okay.
Anybody can have access to it.
All right, I see the house.
Okay, so this particular house here sold in 2004 for $1.1 million. It just sold in February of 2009 for $550,000.
Oh,
That means it's great, and I'm going to take you
is
through.
that what you call a haircut?
Well, that was somebody's haircut, but I don't like to talk about haircuts.
I don't either. I was just thinking that. I shouldn't have said that with this group here. Should I?
Knock off the hair jokes.
Keep your head down so the glare won't be so
I
bad.
get it.
Okay, so it sold for $500,000.
$550,000.
Okay.
So in 5 years' time, somebody took a $550,000 loss, 50% over those 5 years. If you go to the next house, and it happens to be right in the same neighborhood, this one again sold in 2004 for $890,000, and it just sold this past June of '08 for $680,000, or there was a $230,000 loss, or a 24%
This house right now that we're looking at?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And most of these homes I've been in, and most of them I was in back when they sold, and they're all great homes. This particular one, different neighborhood. This guy kind of caught a break, except I'm not sure what he did with it. He bought it in 2003 for $865,000, and sold it in 2008 for $710,000. So he only lost.
That was pretty close.
Well, that was an 18% decline over 6 years or 5 years in that particular case. And provided that he didn't do too much to the house, then he's one of the luckier ones out there. This next one here, both of them are very recent sales. This one here sold in 2007 for $1,390,000 and just sold in November of '08 for $920,000. I'd been in the house both times when it sold, and it was an absolutely great house. In the year and a half time period, he lost 34% of the value there. These are all houses in Bloomfield Village, or in Bloomfield Township. You have another one in the township. This particular one sold in 2001 for $640,000. So the appreciation that you saw in 2002, 2003, 2004, well, he sold it in 2008 for $460,000.
Just evaporated.
Just evaporated, plus another $180,000 in loss off the, not including any appreciation that happened in those earlier years. This particular one, another part of the township, this is a fairly recent sale. It sold in 2005 for $590,000, and it just sold in December of '08 for $405,000.
You're getting down in my range now.
Well, in all our ranges. But you know, the surprising thing about this, none of these homes were foreclosures. If I start going into foreclosures, then we get into a totally different
ballgame.
type of thing. If you take a look at this particular house here, not too far away from my own house, it sold in 2002 for $360,000, and it just sold last month for $206,500, and the bank that had it gave the people $10,000 to use for their closing costs. So there you lost roughly 46% of the value in 6 years' time, $163,000 loss. Another foreclosure.
What does that do? Tell me on this one here you just did. Now, what does that do to the real estate taxes? Is it taxed at the higher amount, or does it change down to the new sale price?
Neither.
What happens to it?
What happens is the assessor groups all the homes together into what he defines as market areas. And by law, he's not allowed to specifically say one home sold for $500,000 and I'm going to assess it at $250,000. he looks at the entire market area, and based on his sales studies, if the market area has gone up 10%, then everybody's value goes up 10%.